All right, everybody should see the opening slide for this morning's presentation. I want to review just a little bit of what we talked about last week, reversing the bidding. The first thing we talked about was what a reverse is not. A reverse is not just plain ordinary up the line bidding. In other words, the second bid suit is generally at the one level, like this example, one diamond, one heart, one spade, or if the second bid, the opener's rebid, is at the two level, it's in a suit that is lower ranking than the opening suit was. These are not reverses. This is just normal, common garden variety bidding. Reverses have some distinctive characteristics. The first one is that the second bid suit is higher in rank than the first bid suit is. In other words, opened a suit at the one level, and when you rebid at the two level, that second suit is higher in rank. Normally, when we have a higher ranking suit and a lower ranking suit, we open the higher ranking suit first.
I need to get this.
That's why we call it reversing the hand. We have bid the suits in reverse order. Because the responder is forced to the three level to take a simple preference to the first bid suit, the two hands between them need to have 22 to 23 points in them. Therefore, in order to bid that way, the opener needs to have at least 17, because remember, responder could be 20 points, but he promises only 6. So in order to have a decent shot at all at a three-level contract, opener needs to have at least 17 points. The next characteristic of a reverse is that it is forcing for one round. Because the opener has shown at least 17 points in his hand, responder only needs 8 or 9. In other words, he could have a minimum hand and there could still be enough for game. So reverses are a one-round force, not necessarily forcing the game. If responder has only 6 points, or maybe he cheated a little bit and responded with 5, then it's not a game force, but it is a one-round force. And finally, if bid correctly, or the hand is the right shape hand to reverse, there are more cards in the first bid suit than there are in the second. 4-4 would be an exception. Normally, they will be at least 5-4, but they could be a lot more than that. So we went through examples of which hands are reverses. Susie had questions this morning on hands number 6 and number 8. On number 6 in particular, she wanted to know, well, the opener is forced to the 2 level. So why is that a reverse? It's a reverse because spades are higher ranking than hearts. This kind of bidding shows longer hearts than spades and a hand that is worth at least 17 points. When South bid 1 no trump, of course, if you play 2 over 1, that 1 no trump is forcing. If it's not, then North could have passed that 1 no trump bid with a minimum opening hand and 4 spades in his hand. Notice South had room to respond 1 spade if he had 4 spades. So North bid 2 spades knowing that his partner doesn't have 4 of them. But he's doing what a good opener does, and he's describing his hand, telling his partner, I have longer hearts than spades. I have at least 17 points. What do you think? Where should we play? And in number 8, of course, 1 club, 1 no trump, 2 hearts. This is just, I have longer clubs than hearts. What do you think? Should we play club? Should we play no trump? Are we going to end up playing a 4-3 heart fit? What do you think, partner? Now then, when you reversed, it goes lower ranking to higher ranking. Normally, when you're bidding, you open the higher ranking suit and you rebid the lower ranking. But when you have reversed, you have bid the lower ranking suit first and then bid a higher ranking suit. And notice, when you open 1 diamond, you cannot reverse into 2 clubs because diamonds are higher ranking than clubs. If those happen to be your two suits, then it's very, if you have 5 diamonds and 4 clubs, you literally cannot reverse that hand legitimately. There are a couple of traps to avoid. You don't want to fabricate a reverse by opening the bidding in the 4-card suit and then reversing into the 5-card suit to show your points, because partner will take a preference to your first bid suit and he may have only 2 cards in that suit. You can end up playing a 4-2 fit in that instance. And I'm here to tell you from personal experience that 4-2 fits don't play well. The other thing that you want to bear in mind is when you have no trump points and you have a hand like the one that is shown here, you could open 1 diamond and reverse into 2 hearts here. The shape is right and the point count is right. But look at how many, 12 of the 17 points are in the 2 doubletons. When you have this kind of situation, it is often smarter and gets your hand off your chest more effectively and shows where you live more effectively by opening 1 no trump. Notice the majority of the points are in the short suits. This is not necessarily what you want when you're reversing. You would like to have most of your points in your 2 long suits. And we have a hand like this. Yes, it's not technically perfectly balanced, but it is semi-balanced. And Don will tell you that it is okay to open 1 no trump with 5-4-2-2 shape. Now, we went through some various distributions of hands that might normally reverse, and we had made it up to page 9. We talked about 5-4 distribution and 6-4 distribution, what the most common distributions of the suits are, and what your consideration should be when you're thinking about whether you have enough to show the shorter suit. We made it up to page 9 here. And we're up to hands that are 6-5. 6-5 hands don't come along all that often. I've had several really wild hands recently, and they've had 6-5 distribution in them. The important thing to remember here, if you have a singleton minor honor like a queen or jack, do not count the points for those honors. Singleton queens and jacks are virtually never going to take tricks. So when you're counting up, don't count those when you're trying to decide whether you're going to reverse the hand. Now, you can either have adjacent suits when you have a 6-5 hand, or you can have non-adjacent suits. When you have, for instance, clubs and diamonds, like in this first example, the bidding would be 1 club, 1 heart, 2 diamonds. As with the previous example, you're going to open the 6-card suit and then decide whether you have sufficient values to show that 4-card suit or the 5-card suit. There are some considerations to think about. When the opener doesn't have enough points to reverse, he can either open and rebid the 6-card suit. That is never wrong. When you have a 6-card suit, you can open and rebid it. Or you can open the 5-card suit and then bid and rebid the 6-card suit. That distorts the description of your hand a little bit, but that is one possibility that you can do. I personally, if I have a 4-card major suit, I really, really, really would like to show it. But and in this case, 5-card major suit, I would like to show it a lot. But if it means I have to reverse and my 5-card suit is a major and my 6-card suit is not, and I don't have enough to reverse, I'm going to be seriously tempted to open the 5-card major suit. That is just my feeling on it, because I have such a strong bias toward playing in major suits. If you don't have enough points to reverse the hand, and you have these 2 options, here's what you need to consider. If you have a strong 5-card suit and your 6-card suit is pretty weak, open the 5-card suit and then rebid the 6-card suit. There aren't very many people who would quarrel with you about that. If the 5-card suit, though, is really weak, open the 6-card suit and then rebid the 6-card suit. This assumes that you lack the points to reverse the hand. It can be hard to come up with 17 points when you have only 2 long suits, because after all, there are only 20 high card points in the 2 suits. So you will have to do some consideration of length and distribution often to come up with enough to be able to reverse the hand. Because as I said, singleton, queens, and jacks should not be counted when you're trying to decide whether you have the values to reverse. Now then, what I just said assumes that the 6-card suit is the lower ranking suit. In either one of these instances, you could be describing a hand that's 5-4, 6-4, or even 6-5. It takes bidding up to the 3rd round for partner to be able to discern your shape when you have something that is extreme, like 6-5. The way you normally show 6-5 distribution is to open the 6-card suit and then bid the 5-card suit twice. Notice that takes 3 bids to show. So when you rebid your 2nd suit, you are describing a 6-5 hand pattern. Now, if the first suit that you bid is higher ranking rather than lower ranking, it could be 5-5 distribution that you are describing. Because if you had 5 hearts and 5 spades, you'd open 1 spade and bid hearts twice to describe your hand, wouldn't you? But in this instance, I'm assuming that the 6-card suit is lower in rank. That's where the problems with reverses come in. When you have 6-5 and your longer suit, the 6-card suit, is higher in rank than the second one, then you don't have an issue. You don't have to worry about reversing. But it's when that first suit is lower in rank than the second one is that you run into problems and have to consider whether you have the values to reverse. Now, when you have suits that are non-adjacent, adjacent suits would be like hearts and diamonds or spades and hearts or clubs and diamonds, that kind of thing. When you have non-adjacent suits, you open the bidding with the 6-card suit, regardless of the number of points you have or the quality of the suit. The reason for that is if partner has a doubleton in each one of your suits, at least you can end out playing in an 8-card fit. If you have fewer than the 17 points required to reverse, then you just rebid the 6-card suit, just like you would in the other situation where the suits were adjacent and you lacked the points to mention the 5-card suit. If you have 17 or more points, you can rebid the 5-card suit because you have the values to reverse the hand. Now we get into a really, really kind of tricky situation here, and that is when your rude opponents decide to muck up the works and stick in some competitive bidding. Just when you think you've got this stuff down, along comes an opponent who sticks in a bid, and now you're not sure what to do. Let me see if I can clarify this a little bit. When the left-hand opponent has interfered, in other words, opener's left-hand opponent has interfered in the second seat here, the voluntary bid of a higher ranking second suit is still a reverse. Opener here has promised 17 points. He can respond one no trump here. He can respond, he can rebid clubs. If he has a good 5-card suit, he might be forced into rebidding a 5-card club suit. If he has 6 clubs, he can rebid the clubs. He has options here. In other words, he has to bid. That's absolutely right, because responder has has bid anyway over the opponent's bid, and he's bid a new suit. Responder's hand is unlimited here, so opener must bid, but if he doesn't have the values to bid hearts here, he has to choose something else. He has to choose one no trump, for instance. That seems fairly reasonable to me. And he may not have the right shape. If he has that 5-4-3-1 shape that we've talked about, and he has 3 cards support for spades, that may be his best option. I'm not saying that it's okay to raise responder's major suit with only 3 cards support. It's really only okay and is the lesser of the evils when you have a singleton in an unbid suit, or maybe in the opponent's bid suit here, and you have 3 card support for responder's major. Then it can be acceptable. Maybe you'll get lucky and partner will have 5. Here he promises only 4. Remember, if he had 4 of each, 1 club, 1 diamond, he would double, using the negative double to show 4 of each. He doesn't have that. He has shown spades. So opener now knows, because responder would have doubled if he held 4 of each. He bids spades, which means he could have 5 spades and 4 hearts, but he may not have but a doubleton in hearts. So opener here, when he bids 2 hearts, knows that it's possible that responder does not have a fit in hearts with him because he responded 1 spade. He is describing the shape and the strength of his hand with this reverse. This is a voluntary bid. He doesn't have to bid 2 hearts because the opponent here that passed didn't bid 2 diamonds. If the opponent had bid 2 diamonds, then all of a sudden bidding 2 hearts isn't voluntary anymore, is it? Opener could conceivably pass here because responder will have another bid. So the voluntary bid of a higher second ranking suit is still a reverse when opener's left-hand opponent has bid. Now, in that previous auction that I showed, this is what he's showing. 2 hearts can show if the responder bid 2 diamonds. This is another example here of how the bidding might have gone instead of the way it did on this previous auction. I'll show that to you again. 1 club, 1 diamond, a 1 level bid by the responder. 2 hearts is a reverse here. 2 hearts is a voluntary bid at the 2 level, and it's a higher ranking suit, so that's still a reverse. However, when the responder bids freely at the 2 level, 1 club by opener, 1 spade by your left-hand opponent, or the opener's left-hand opponent, 2 diamonds by responder, promising at least 10 high card points. This bid still promises at least 10 high card points. Those of you who play 2/1 know that 2/1 is off when there is interference by an opponent. So this is no longer a 2/1 game forcing auction if that's what this pair plays. But this 2 diamond bid promises at least 10 points. Now when opener bids 2 hearts, he can show anywhere from 12 to 18 points because responder has at least 10. Opener has at least 12. We're going to be safe at the 3 level. So after responder has bid at the 2 level, the bid of a second higher ranking suit does not guarantee 17 plus points. It could be all the way from the minimum 12 up to 18. It's not 19 because he didn't jump shift. So 2 hearts here shows 12 to 18. 2 no trump shows 12 to 14. 12 to 14 only. Simply because That's normal. That's normal bidding following a two-level response by partner. If it had gone one club, one spade, two diamonds, two no trump, that is irrespective of 2/1 bidding, anything like that. And it shows a stop in spades, or should. If he doesn't have a stopper in spades, he needs to find another bid, doesn't he? So now, if the bid of the higher ranking suit at your partner's second turn to bid is not voluntary, in other words, responder went past the two level of opener's first bid suit, didn't he? Opener no longer has the option of rebidding his first suit at a minimum level. He went past the two level of opener's suit. So two hearts is not voluntary. If he's going to show hearts, he has to bid two hearts. This is not a reverse. Not a reverse. This is why the reason responders going past the two level of opener suit is why two hearts is not a reverse. He didn't give partner the option. Partner has to bid again. He cannot pass. Responder's bid is an absolute one-round force, so he must bid again. Two hearts, therefore, is not a reverse because his bid there was not voluntary. To show hearts, he had to bid them at the two level, and it looks like a reverse, but it is not. So neither one of these bids here really shows extra values. And that's because responder bid at the two level, showing at least 10 points. He could have more. He could have 12 or 13, but this is no longer a game forcing auction because there's been interference. Now, this was interference by the opener's left-hand opponent. What happens if the interference is by opener's right-hand opponent? In other words, your partners had the opportunity to bid, and then all of a sudden, your right-hand opponent bids something. Well, in that instance, if the opener has a minimum hand and no good rebid, he is allowed to pass because his partner gets another chance to bid. So if the opener chooses to rebid a higher ranking suit than that first one was, then this is a reverse. Because on this auction, opener has the opportunity or has permission, so to speak, to pass because responder gets another call. So when he freely bids the higher ranking suit, this is a reverse and it promises 17 or more points and is a one-round force. Responder must bid again, at least one more time. Notice the difference. When it's the right-hand opponent who interferes, responder gets another chance to bid. So that means that with a really minimum hand that lacks support for responder suit, opener can pass, knowing that responder will bid again if the hand belongs to them. Now then, one hand shape out there is very, very difficult to bid, and that is the 4-4-4-1 hand, and in particular, the 1-4-4-4 hand, one spade and four cards in each of the remaining three suits. It can be very hard sometimes. I just hate it when I pick up a really fine hand that I can open two clubs and my shape is 1-4-4-4. What am I going to rebid? Well, usually I'm stuck with a no trump rebid, simply because these hands can be so hard to describe. But when you have 17 or more points, and this type of distribution, specifically a singleton spade and four cards in the other three suits, open one diamond. Remember, when we have equal length in the minor suits, we open, and it's four, we open one diamond. And then reverse into two hearts. Notice that it's virtually guaranteed that your partner is going to bid one spade after you opened one diamond. At least that's what my partners always do. I should be so lucky that my partner should respond one heart. If my partner responds one heart and I had that kind of hand, wild horses are not going to keep me out of game. Simply because 17 points in a singleton, I'm going to head for game territory very quickly. If your situation is like mine usually is, and your partner bids one spade over your one diamond opening, then reversing the hand into two hearts describes your hand quite well. The only problem is that you don't have longer diamonds than hearts. But this is not a perfect world, and this is the best way to describe this hand. Now, if you have exactly 17 points, the new rules that the ACBL has approved now say that if that singleton is an ace, king, or queen, it is permissible to open one no trump. Or if your partner bids spades, if you want to rebid two no trump when you have a hand worth 18 or 19, then that is acceptable. And in this case, if you have a singleton spade and it is an honor, then if you have 20 points, you can open it to no trump. If you have 19 points and your singleton is an honor, you can open it to no trump. Don, correct me if I'm wrong. Can two no trump be opened with a small singleton in that case, or does it still require an honor to open two no trump? Don? I think he took a nap. We'll ask him.
I'm coming. It took me. I was browsing something else.
Oh.
What was the question?
I'm sorry. Is you're 1-4-4-4 and you have 19 or 20 high card points in your hand. If that singleton is a small singleton, is it permissible to open two no trump, or does it have to be an honor?
If by partnership agreement your two no trump opener in an open game doesn't have to meet the definition of a natural, then you need to alert it as this may not be natural. If you're playing in a limited game, then it needs to be natural. So then no, you can't open 2-0 in a limited game.
Okay, thank you. So for most of you guys, you can't open 2-0 trump with this kind of hand at 20 points. You need to use a reverse or a jump shift to show this kind of hand. The problem with the reverse is, of course, that both suits are 4 cards long, and so that's not perfect, but that's what your options are. If you have 19 points, certainly you can jump shift, and that implies also that the first bid suit is longer than the second one, but may not be. So you have a choice there in how you can handle it, but opening 2-0 trump is not one of them in a limited game. So here's some examples. I think examples are easier to see and understand rather than just talking in abstract concepts. Notice that this is the 5-4-3-1 hand. It has 17 high card points in it, and it is strong enough to open one club, and partner will probably bid a heart or a spade or some such thing. Then you have enough to reverse into 2 diamonds. That forces your partner to take another call because it's a 1-round force. Now, if partner rebids spades showing more than 4, then having this kind of hand with 3 card support and a singleton, I would jump straight to 4 spades here. That is, partner will know that you have only 3 of them because you didn't raise spades immediately. When you delay raising partner's major suit by 1 round, it shows 1 card shorter in terms of the support. An immediate raise to 2 spades here would show 4 card support. By reversing into 2 diamonds, Partner rebids the spades. Now, when you support spades, your partner knows that you have 3 of them, but not 4. He also can figure out, because you reverse, that you have 5 clubs, 4 diamonds, 3 spades. That means he can figure out that you have a singleton heart. So that gives partner a lot of information, and he can judge exactly how high you can afford to go. It may help him. He may have 3 small cards in the heart suit, and when he knows that you have only 1, well, that makes a lot of difference. So with this kind of hand, when partner bids and rebids spades, if you reverse and then you jump to 4 spades after he rebids spades, then he can figure out what your shape is and will know whether he has enough to go on beyond game or not. Now then, if he bids anything else, if he rebids something else, then your third bid should still be whatever number of spades you have to bid in order to show 3-card support. Showing 3-card support for your partner is very important. So after you open a club, partner bids a spade, you bid 2 diamonds. If he bids something else, say he goes back to clubs or whatever, then you have enough in your hand to show 3-card spade support by bidding spades at your third turn. Partner may not, for some reason, may not have wanted to rebid a 5-card suit. Most of us know that rebidding a suit promises 6, or he may have a very weak suit that he thinks is not worthy of a rebid. Whatever the case, you need to be sure to show 3-card spade support to your partner. All right, here's another one. Okay, I've got something covering up my, here we go. Now, this is an example of a 5-5 hand here. I've gotten several of these lately. If you open the hand 1 spade and partner responds 2 hearts, then you have to go to the 3 level to show your diamonds. When you have to go to the 3 level with your second bid, you need to have either 5-5 distribution or 14 or more high card points. This is not technically a reverse because the second bid suit is not higher in rank than the first bid suit is. But partner has forced you to go to the 3 level here. With fewer than 14 high card points here, you're almost forced to rebid your 5-card spade suit because you can't raise your partner with only 1 heart. If you have 4 diamonds and fewer than 14 points, or even if you have 3 clubs, you can't rebid clubs. You can't show your diamonds at the 3 level. You can't bid clubs or diamonds, either one, because partner's 2-heart bid has forced you to the 3 level. In many cases, this will be a game forcing auction if you play 2 over 1. But if you don't, partner is promising you only 10 points and at least 5 hearts, but you do not have a heart fit. You could think about bidding 2 no trump. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, I bid 2 no trump. I have the other suits covered. But if your partner's suit is, say, 9 high, do you think that you have a stop in that suit? Partner may have the king of spades, and he might have the queen jack of clubs and 5 hearts in his hand without any honors. Or maybe it's a queen empty suit. When you bid no trump with only a singleton in your partner's suit, if his suit is such that it can't be set up easily and he has a minimum hand, even for his bid, you take a big risk when you have a singleton in your partner's suit. You have no guarantees of having a way to get back to his hand if that suit doesn't break well. The next hand is a little bit different. As we've talked about, using a reverse doesn't always mean that you have 5-4 distribution. This is a hand that has 6 hearts and 5 spades in it. So let's open this hand 1 heart. Now, partner is not going to be cooperative and respond 1 spade. I mean, that would be too easy. You know, if he responds 1 spade, well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going immediately to 4 spades. Let's say he bids 1 no trump. This hand is good enough to reverse into 2 spades. Even though partner may have denied 4 spades, you don't care. You got 5 of them. 6 hearts and 5 spades. No matter what your partner bids next, and he has to bid again because you reverse the hand. It's a 1-round force. You rebid spades to show 5 of them. By bidding that way, you show a strong hand with 6 hearts and 5 spades in it. That will allow your partner to decide which suit should be the trump suit. Remember, it's opener's job to describe, responder's job to decide. The more accurate the opener can be in his description, the better able responder will be to make a good decision. So if you open 1 heart and then bid spades twice, this describes 6-5 distribution. Your partner should be able to figure out which is the better option. Now then, number 4. After you open 1 club, obviously you got 5 clubs. This is a very, very nice hand here. Has lots of honors in it. Partner, I don't know about the rest of you, but my partners never respond 1 heart here. It's always 1 spade that comes out of their mouth, hits the table in front of them. Certainly, if your partner bids 1 heart, don't think about it. Just bid 4 hearts. So, but let's assume that partner bids 1 spade. Reversing into 2 hearts is certainly within the realm of possibility because there are more than enough points. But notice about this hand. It's 5-4-2-2, which is semi-balanced. Partner has bid spades. That's your weakest suit. Almost half the points in this hand are in the 2 doubletons. Rather than reversing into 2 hearts here, I like a rebid of a jump to 2 no trump better. Simply because it describes the way the points are distributed in the hand and the distribution as well. Rebidding 2 hearts tends to show a hand with a singleton in it and one that is more oriented toward a suit contract. This hand is more balanced than many of the hands that we use a reverse are. And so here I like a 2 no trump rebid. I wouldn't argue with a 2 heart reverse, but this hand looks kind of no trumpy to me, opposite a 1 spade response from my partner. So in this instance, I would choose 2 no trump as my rebid. But this is bidder's choice, I admit. All right, now then. With favorable vulnerability here, East opened the hand 1 club, left-hand opponent passed, and West responds 1 spade. This hand is not strong enough to reverse into 2 hearts, is it? It has only 14 high card points in it. It does have 3-card spade support, and I bet some of you are saying, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, raise that spade bid. This is not the kind of hand that should raise partner's major suit response with only 3-card support. Those hands are 5-4-3-1 hands. There's a singleton in it. Hopefully the 3-card support for partner contains 1 honor and then a couple of small ones to use to rough out losers in that suit where you have the singleton. But this is a balanced hand. This is a balanced 12 to 14 point opening hand. So rather than raise to 2 spades with no roughing value here in your hand, 1 no trump is the correct rebid here. When you raise partner's 4-card major suit with only, or what looks to be, or what he promises to be only a 4-card major suit with only 3 in your hand, it's because that choice is the lesser of the evils. You don't want to bid 1 no trump with a singleton in an unbid suit. You don't have a 6th card in your suit to rebid it. You lack the points to reverse. So the only thing that's left is to raise with 3-card support. That's not the case here. This is a balanced hand that does not contain a singleton in an unbid suit. So the correct rebid here is 1 no trump. Here's another example. North opens 1 club, South bids a heart, and North reverses into 2 diamonds. We can tell that's a reverse because the second suit that is bid is higher in rank than the first one. Now South is stuck. He has a minimum 6-point hand and he's wishing he hadn't bid. He's thinking, why in the world? Why couldn't I have gotten one of my 4-point wonders here and gotten to pass the first time? Notice that if he bids 2 spades here, that's forcing. He's still an unpassed hand, so the bid of a new suit is forcing 1 round. He has absolutely no choice here because assuming North has 5 clubs and 4 diamonds, there's not an 8-card set in either one of those suits. Partner doesn't have 4 hearts. We know that for sure. So he has no choice but to bid 2 no trump. That's not forcing. Does he have the points to bid 2 no trump? If partner hadn't reversed, he wouldn't do that. He would take a preference back to the first bid suit and hope that his partner had at least 7 cards in it. But in this case, because North reversed, he has to bid again. He cannot pass, even with a very weak hand like this. And his only choice is to bid 2 no trump. This is not a strong bid by the partner of the one who reversed. That's generally considered to be slowing the auction down, saying, whoa, partner, slow down. I know you've got a good hand. I don't have a good hand with you. So unless North has anything extra for his bid, he should not consider that 2 no trump bid to be invitational. It's not. It's an I don't have anything else to bid. So if North has no extras, he passes 2 no trump. Here's another one. West opens 1 club, East bids 1 spade. Now West reverses to 2 diamonds. That hand is definitely strong enough, isn't it? And of course, West knew that East was going to bid spades. I mean, that's just a given. So this time, though, East has a better hand. He has 11 high card points and he has a 6-card suit. It's tempting to bid 4 spades, but remember, when your partner reverses, he does not have a balanced hand. He may not have any spades in his hand. You may end up playing your trump suit here in game with only those spades you have in your hand. There was no trump rebid here by your partner, so you cannot make the assumption that partner will have 2 spades. So rather than bid 4 spades, he should jump to 3 spades, showing a 6-card suit and strong interest in playing the spade game. Even though he bids 3 spades, West still doesn't have support. He has only 1. In this case, he should bid 3 no trump. The reason he knows that there will be entries to his partner's hand is that partner jumped. If he'd had a minimum hand with 6 spades, he'd have bid only 2 spades, but he jumped to 3, promising at least an invitational hand. That means that West, I mean, he's got a great hand here. and notice that partner has a hand worth at least 11 points over there with 6 spades in it. He's going to have entries to the board to get to those spades once he gets them set up. So in this case, he knows there's enough to bid 3 no trump simply because his partner has shown more than a minimum hand. And in this case, they lose only the 2 outstanding aces. Now, I want to warn you guys that sometimes when you have a new toy and you've learned about something that you kind of heard discussed in the background for several years, it's characteristic, no matter your experience level, when you get a new bid or a new play technique, to want to use it. And sometimes it's not always appropriate to use it. Last time I played at the club, I had been reading a book on loser plays, and I was just so full of myself with all my new stuff I had learned about loser plays, and I applied it to a hand where it was not appropriate, and I didn't get a good result on the hand. I didn't make as many tricks as I should have. So people of all levels are prone to want to do that kind of thing. Here's an example of where it might happen. Let's look at this hand. This is a 5-5 hand in the major suits, and boy, is it nice. It's got 17 high card points in it, and it's 5-5 in the major suits. Man, I love a hand like that. So some people with 17 points might want to open 1 heart and reverse into 2 spades. What's wrong with that? Look at the partner's hand over here. If you open 1 heart, partner bids 1 no trump, and then you reverse into 2 spades, your partner is going to take a preference back to the known longer suit, the first bid suit. He will take a preference back to 2 hearts. There you are, in a preference with 2 hearts, or 3 hearts actually, because it went 1 heart, 1 no trump, 2 spades, 3 hearts with this kind of fit. And then looking at the spade suit, you should be kicking yourself. If you're playing hearts on this hand, you're thinking, yuck, this is awful. So when you have 5-5 in the major suits, open the higher ranking one, regardless of how many points you have. Notice if you open 1 spade here, your partner will bid 2 spades. That makes your life easy, doesn't it? I'm bidding 4 spades. My partner raises my spades, telling me he has 3 and he has at least 6 points. I mean, his points have to be somewhere. I've got a singleton in clubs. I've got nice hearts too. So I'm going to bid 4 spades over that. So when you hold 5-5 in the major suits and these kinds of points, don't be tempted to reverse. Bid your hand the way the shape dictates. When you're 5-5, you don't have the first bid suit that's longer than the second. I'm showing you some of the traps that people fall into when I first learned about reverses. So just remember your good bidding practices and know that a good deal of the time when you pick up a hand that looks like it would be a good hand to reverse, most of the time you won't have the points to do so. Most of the time, simply because 12 to 14 point hands occur so much more frequently than the ones with 17 or more. So here's a summary. When a player opens with a lower ranking suit at the 1 level, notice this is a 1 level opening, and then rebids a higher ranking suit at the 2 level, he or she has reversed the hand. Now, a reverse that follows a 1 level response by the responder. In other words, 1 club, 1 spade by responder, 2 hearts by the opener. That was a 1 level response by the responder. It is forcing for 1 round. Forcing for 1 round only, not a game force, just forcing for 1 round. Reverses are always presumed to show more cards in the first bid suit than in the second. Having 2 4-card suits should be an exception, because if you have 2 4-card suits, you're either 4-4-4-1 and cannot open no trump, or you have another problem that cannot be dealt with any other way. So that's an exception, though. The number of points that you need to reverse the hand depends on how extreme your distribution is. When you have 5-4 in your 2 suits, then you need to have 17 or more high card points. Now, some people shave that a little bit and say 17 total points. This is a matter for partnership agreement. If you have 6-4 in the 2 suits, you can shave a couple of points off that requirement, simply because you have 10 cards in 2 suits. That means you only have 3 cards in the other 2 suits. And if you are 6-5, you can reverse with only 14 or more high card points. Now, here's an exception. Even with these lowered requirements, if all of your high card points are in your 2 suits, or the short suits don't have queens and jacks that are wasted in them, you can shave that point requirement by 1. In other words, don't try to memorize this stuff exactly. Just know that when you have all your working high cards in your longest suits, then your hand is worth more than having stray queens and jacks in your short suits, because those are not trick takers. Your hand is worth more if your high cards are in your long suits. We talked about last week that a jump reverse is a splinter bid. If you and your partner have agreed to play splinter bids by opener, then what looks like a jump shift becomes a splinter bid by the opener. The way you know it's a splinter is 1 level higher than the forcing bid. Well, just reversing is a 1-round force. That's forcing. So jump reversing becomes a splinter bid. That bid, splinter bids have to be alerted because they're not natural. They do not denote the suit being bid. They show 4-card support for the responder's major. They show game-going values, which for the opener would be 19 points, and 4-card support and shortness in the bid suit. It must be alerted. And as the case with all splinter bids, it's forcing. Now then, here's the short and sweet about the competitive bidding. If partner's 2-level response over a competitor's or an opponent's intervening bid is in a higher ranking suit than yours, and your right-hand opponent passes, a rebid at the 2-level in a higher ranking suit is not a reverse. It was that example where it went 1 club, 1 spade, 2 diamonds, pass, 2 hearts. That is not a reverse. That's because your partner's bid was forcing for 1 round. It was a new suit, and not only was it a new suit, it was a new suit at the 2-level. If partner's 2-level response following an intervening bid is in a higher ranking suit than your first bid suit, when you rebid 2 no trump, you show 12 to 14 points. That is similar to the 1 no trump rebid after your partner's 1-level response. Same kind of deal. I have a minimum opening hand partner. You were able to bid at the 2-level, but I still have a minimum opening hand, and it's balanced, and I don't have support for the suit that you name. 2 no trump still shows 12 to 14. Now, if the competitive bid is made by opener's right-hand opponent rather than the left-hand opponent, and opener voluntarily bids a new suit at the 2-level, that is a reverse, because with a minimum opening hand, opener can pass because his partner gets a chance to bid again. Finally, holding 1-4-4-4 distribution that denotes a singleton spade and 18 or 19 high card points, open one diamond and reverse the hand by bidding 2 hearts if partner bids 1 spade, and your singleton is a jack or a lower ranking card. If the singleton spade is the ace, king, or queen, jump to 2 no trump. That's it in a nutshell, folks. We have about 5 minutes left here. I realize that a lot of this is overwhelming and seems like a lot of material. My best advice is to go over the earliest pages first and get down what constitutes a reverse in your minds first, and worry about all of these point requirements for various distributions and things like that later on down the road. You're going to have plenty of opportunities in your bridge playing career to come across those hands and to practice. But this is really all I know about reverses. There may be other people out there who know more about reverses than I do. I don't pretend to know everything about them, but I think if you just concentrate on learning to recognize reverses and learning to recognize the hand that is appropriate for a reverse, you will have come a long way. So the floor is open for questions if anybody has one. Mm-hmm.
Deborah, go ahead, Deborah, you've got a question.
Yes, on page 13,
okay,
the very last example, the very last sentence, I think you said that rebidding 2 hearts would show a hand that is more suited to a suit contract rather than a trump.
A trump contract, and this one is, yes. That is because this one is semi-balanced and it has almost half of its points in the 2 doubletons.
Okay.
That
So
to me makes it more suitable for no trump. But I don't argue with reversing into 2 hearts here. That's bidder's choice.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Anybody else?
I have a question. It really doesn't have to do with reverse, but with the bidding sequence. And I tried to ask this to you one day when we were playing against you and didn't get it out well. I have a distribution of 3 spades, 2 hearts, 4 in the minors, and I have 13 points. I have a diamond. My partner responds in a spade, which I have 3 of. So I do that now and say the 2 clubs. With responder having, say, 5, she has 5 spades. But because I have 3, I can't raise her. But because of my 2 hearts, I don't want to go to no trump. Why
don't you want to go to no trump? You have a balanced hand pattern, Janet.
Okay. All right. Go to no trump before I bid my clubs then and ask her if she's...
In holding that hand and 13 points, I would open a diamond, and if my partner bid a spade, I'd rebid 1 no trump, hoping that if he had 5 of them, he had enough to use new minor forcing.
Okay. Absolutely. Bid no trump the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
Good question, Janet.
Yes, it was a good question. Okay. Very good question. When you open diamonds and rebid clubs, you imply that you have an unbalanced hand because you didn't rebid 1 no trump. So be careful about choosing your rebids in the way that describes your hand pattern as well as its strength. In this case, for those of you who know new minor forcing, if the responder has at least an invitational hand and 5 spades, he can bid the other minor. In this case, that would be 2 clubs, asking opener to describe his hand further in terms of his major suit holdings. And with most pairs, his first obligation is to show 3-card support for the responder's major suit. So that enables you to find 5-3 sets when there's been a 1 no trump rebid. 1 no trump or new minor forcing is an excellent bid. That would. Anybody else have a question?
This is Rick. I have one. On page 17.
Okay.
The second bullet says a reverse that follows, and I guess I just didn't catch on to this before. A reverse that follows a 1-level response by the responders forcing for 1 round. So if that response is at the 2 level, It's not forcing?
No, because once responder has bid at the 2 level, then when opener rebids a higher ranking suit than his first one, then that doesn't necessarily promise extra values.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
Yeah, it makes a difference on whether the response is at the 1 level or at the 2 level. Most reverses follow a response at the 1 level.
So if the responder bids at the 2 level, the opener can bid at the 2 level without it necessarily being a reverse, even if it's a higher rank.
Yes, because even if he has a minimum 12-point opening hand, responder has at least 10. That means we're safe at the 3 level. The problem with reversing the hand when you have a minimum hand is you're forced to the 3 level with maybe only 19 points between you. That's not enough to be successful in a 3-level contract. And so that's why we say that you have to have at least 17 points, a hand worth at least 17, to be able to reverse, because responder only promises you 6 points. He often has more, and if he's able to bid at the 2 level, well, fantastic. You know, a lot of auctions that start out with a bid at the 1 level and then a response at the 2 level end up in game anyway. So that doesn't require the opener to have additional values to bid what looks like a reverse, because over a 2-level response, things change. Hi, this is Susan. Thanks for stopping by the Oklahoma Collective's YouTube channel. Basically, this channel shows recordings of our free 1-hour bridge lessons for advancing players that we offer every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. If you would like to join us, send your contact information to the email address shown on the screen, and we'll be happy to send you the link. If you would like to follow our channel and be notified when a new recording is uploaded, just click the Oklahoma Collective button below. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.